they're not using, DOC is not using the people that are available to them. You know, I volunteered 100 times to go in there and teach parenting classes. They don't want volunteers. They want to have it. They want to have a hourly employee working in these classrooms and doing stuff.
But is that a labor thing? Is that like that's our body of work? We do that?
I mean, I think that's what it is, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know, they want to grow their union. I mean,
Yeah.
the unions are powerful forces here. And, you know, I just want to say, like, there's some amazing people that work for the Department of Corrections. But there's also bad actors just like everywhere else.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were saying earlier that that in your parenting program in prison that there was staff that volunteered to work it because...
Oh, no, they were volunteers. They were like from our community. They would come in.
No paid staff.
Just no pay.
Yeah.
They were non-paid. You know, they would bring in the materials. They would come in for our quarterlies and our weekly meetings and our quarterly events that we'd have with everybody for reunions. And like, it was...
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of Pure Washington also. I didn't realize until maybe 6 months ago that it's very hard to get peers in corrections.
Well, they're growing their own now, just so you know. They are, Shelton, I was just there, and they have a couple classes of people that just graduated from from peer counseling from the health department. And they're also, allowing them to earn their 1,000 hours of training.
Yeah.
They've completed their 80 hours of training. Now they're getting ready to do their 1,000 hours
And
of
that's
work.
for the peer certification?
They have, but for their peer, for the actual...
peer counselor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they're currently working on building out an academy at Shelton for peer
cool.
counseling.
That's cool.
And it's, you know, there was a lifer sitting at the table. He's like one of the leaders of the program. So, I mean, I think it's really... And we just started our peer counseling internship at Weld, too. We hired our first intern.
Oh, that's
It's
great.
a peer counselor. So we're going to start doing trainings within Weld for peer counseling. And because we know it's the best impact thing we could do is having people like us walk with people.
Yeah. It's something that we hear thematically. It's uniform, the consensus that it is peers that help people to break the cycle. You know, it's not going to be me. I'm going to go try to find the money for the peers to do
Well, I mean, that's the thing too, right, Amy? It's you know, I know we all know what it is and what we have to do. It's being able to fund it.
Yeah.
You know, because like, to be honest, like half the time we're working at Weld, we're also in the back of our head thinking, oh my God, if we don't get this grant, we're done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And thankfully we've had some amazing support and folks like you that see what we do and support us to even grow a little further.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping this program that we're getting funded right now, we'll be able to take it to every county.
Yeah.
I mean, because at the end of the day, it's going to be so impactful, they're not going to be able to resist doing it.
Yeah. You know, when we got married, actually, it may have been even before or right after, we were revising our wills, you know, our estate plans. And it was, and I'm, you know, very into philanthropy and estate plans and, you know, charitable remainder trusts and things. But I was asking Eric, I was like, you know, who would you want named? It's like you can settle out the estate, but even having like donations made to a nonprofit instead of sending flowers is a really useful thing to do. And Weld was the first nonprofit he named. You know, I think there were 2 or 3 that you liked. But
yeah, well, you know. I don't want you to off me now.
Staying on your best behavior.
Well, on a side note, you know, that Weld is very interested in, you know, Eric as a, you know, possibly being a board member.
Yeah, we should put him on the spot right now.
I will say this: Weld is changing lives, and it's allowing people to get, you know, the structure and support they need to chart a new course and to be, you know, better parents for their kids and better community members for society and you know, just all around better folks. And so, I mean, what better thing to contribute to? So you guys are changing lives, without question. And so, you know, after 38 years in law enforcement, you know, when I got on, I thought that, you know, you just arrest folks when they commit crimes and they'll think better of it next time and they won't commit crimes anymore. And I mean, like literally, it wasn't, I mean, Amy sometimes puts a whole punishment spin on it and things like that. But I think fundamentally what I think people thought, and I know what I thought was, well, God, I'm scared to death of getting arrested, you know, when I was a kid or whatever. So I wouldn't have done anything that, you know, I thought would have put me at risk of that. But, you know, there are folks that are in circumstances, and certainly folks in crisis, and certainly folks in addiction. You don't have that opportunity to think like that. That's the driving forces are greater than the will to just choose not to do it. So, after a number of years in law enforcement, you realize that, well, I keep arresting Joe. I've arrested Joe like 10 times, and
maybe this isn't working.
It doesn't seem to be working. So, then you have to kind of think like, okay, maybe, we need other systems. We need other tools. We need other support mechanisms to allow Joe to change course. And frankly, it's only been the last few years where I suppose that's not true. There was times when I was running the narcotics section where we would see folks that we used to deal with and now have had a change in their life, and they're so we knew it was possible, but I think it's over the last few years where I've really been more exposed to programs like Weld and other programs. I give a list, but it's not helpful at the moment. And folks like yourself who are living great lives, contributing to the lives of others around them, and breaking cycles so that overall, community is better, public safety is improved. All of the good things that come from helping folks get on the right course. And so I'm a big fan.
I think the most important idea, Jim, is that you had a 40-year sentence, right? And for a lot of people who are listening to this, they think, oh, that's a scary guy. That's a bad guy. 40 years is a long time. And what I find is we're going to chat more. That's really high.
Well,
that's really
I just
high.
want to say 2 years after I was sentenced, the Washington State Legislature changed the drug laws.
Yeah.
Prior to 2002, it was 20 years for manufacturing, and it was 20-year minimums for manufacturing, basically, and then they changed it to 10. But they did not make it retroactive.
Yeah.
So I sat in prison and floundered.
Yeah.
After release, I was able to work with a few Republican senators and got a bill drafted to retroactively apply the drug sentencing laws. And there was 6 people left in prison who were able to get released that were serving archaic drug sentences like myself.
Yeah.
And had it not been for the governor's bravery to let me out, I would still be there. So.
Yeah, I just feel like you are specifically gifted and talented, but most people are, in different ways,
people.
right?
There are so many people in prison that deserve an opportunity. I mean, I just had a friend of mine, Andrew Lee. He was 18 years old at a party on New Year's Eve and got in an altercation with a 43-year-old man who just got out of prison. And the guy hit him in the head with an AK-47. And Andrew pulled out a pistol and shot him. 18 years old. He jumped out the window of the house to get away. All the adults in the house chased him down the street. But when they went to court, they all said they were scared, and he got assaults for everyone in the house. They gave him 6 gun enhancements, over a 50-year sentence. He just went up for clemency, and Bob Ferguson denied him, even though he was granted by a 5-0 vote from the clemency board. And he would be out today if he was 38 days younger because he would have qualified for juvenile parole.
Oh. Yeah.
It's insane.
Sigh.
And he was my cellie for a very long time.
Is
like, it's
right?
very we were in dog programs together, and he did everything I did.
Yeah.
And he's a lot younger than me, so I watched him grow up in prison and literally change his life.
Yeah, I just want to see a day, and it's probably not going to happen in my lifetime, but when we exit people, it should correlate with their change, right? We know so much now about the brain and how people change and what it looks like and who is likely to be successful when they exit, and that should determine release.
No, and while that's great, I mean, obviously providing them the opportunity
to rehabilitate
to where they can get to that point, but it's hard to implement a program like that where you try to prognosticate a person's likelihood of recidivism.
I think that judges specifically should have way more discretion.
Yeah.
Right now, we paint them into a box with the SRA and say, here, you have a 50-month different sentence you can give them. Either you give them 100 months or 150 months. It's up. But that's all their discretion. And there's not a chance for them to individualize a sentence for an individual.
Yeah.
And if that's not all, judges should have a chance to review a person 15 years later and say, okay.
Oh, for gosh sakes, absolutely.